staying in the Southeast, where Imo State government says it will set up a panel to get to the root of the violence in Izombe community of Oguta local government.
Just burn all the house. One of the house. We just shoot the guy. See, can you see?
Atrocities going on in eastern Nigeria against the civilian members of the civilian population.
They put him inside this building, burnt him, he died inside the fire.
The International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, InterSociety, had on 19 January 2022 issued a detailed special investigative report titled How Security Forces, Jihadists, Killed 1,400 Defenseless Civilians in 14 Months, October 2020 to December 2021 in Eastern Nigeria. Abducted or arrested over 4,800, disappeared 1,000, attacked 100 Igbo communities and burnt down or destroyed 1,000 dwelling houses and other properties valued at 40 billion naira.
The thing is that we didn't just start launch investigation. It was as a result of the report we released on 19th of January, where we established that Nigerian Army, soldiers of Nigerian Army and other security agents are going about in rampaging form and, setting houses of indigenous Igbo people ablaze, burning down their houses, including their antiquities inherited from their forefathers and foremothers, pillaging their properties in industrial scale, plundering their properties also in industrial scale, and with impunity. And the report identified 100 Igbo communities as having been attacked by the security agents or security forces, including special soldiers of Nigerian Army, in the past 14 months, that is October 2020 to January, which has been updated to this month of March. So we also identify the fact that not less than 1,100 homes, mostly ancestral homes belonging to citizens of Igbo ethnic nationality, particularly in the southeast and south part of the country, we are attacked within that period and set ablaze and burnt or properties pillaged or destroyed or plundered.
The report had arisen from our investigation and documentation of the conduct atrocities by Nigerian security forces against Eastern Nigeria's civilian population, especially since October 2020 during the war-grade army attack in Obibo and its residents in Rivers State. According to findings made contained in our catalogues of atrocities against the country's security forces, the Nigerian security forces have refused to abide by the rules and conventions laid down or set forth in relevant laws of Nigeria and regional and international instruments to guide situation of violent, armed conflict, management or policing of turbulent civil spaces, especially as they concern protection of members of the civilian population and their properties, including dwelling houses, sacred places of worship, and sources of livelihood. The international legal instruments include relevant humanitarian and human rights laws. These the country's security forces have observed in gross breach by attacking civilian population and abducting them and burning down or pillaging or plundering their properties with utter alacrity. The security forces have also refused to go after the armed opposition fighting parties using professionalism and instruments of law and skilled intelligence, electronic and mental crime detection and investigation. Instead, the security forces and their high command have taken recourse to ethnic profiling, including tagging and treating Eastern Nigeria civilians and their properties as irredentist fighting parties and objects. Nigerian soldiers, others committing war and humanity crimes in the Southeast. As a matter of fact, the Nigerian army and other members of the conventional and unconventional security forces are presently committing war crimes, crimes against humanity, and other internationally prohibited acts in eastern Nigeria, especially in its southeast part. This is the extent that in the past 15 months, October 2020 to January 2022, not less than 1,100 civilian homes have been burnt down or destroyed, and properties worth billions of naira burnt or pillaged and plundered. The Nigerian army-led perpetrators of conduct atrocities have also rendered over 44,000 civilians homeless, forced them out of their ancestral homes, and made them to flee to avoid being criminally labeled ESN, IPOB members, sympathizers, relatives, and killed or abducted and disappeared without traces. Many of the affected communities have become a ghost town, especially from the perspective of those in male productive age category. A total of 45 billion worth of properties had also been lost. Consequently, following several complaints and reports of the continued invasion and indiscriminate burning down of houses and destruction and massive looting of their properties and sources of livelihood by soldiers in the Nigerian army, particularly soldiers of the 34th Brigade Obinze near Owerri in Imo State, commanded by Brigadier General Raymond Utsaha in Northern Christian, in several Imo communities.
And soldiers that perpetrated this act, atrocity conduct in Imo State, are soldiers, drafted from 34th Brigade at Obinze near Owerri in Imo State, under the command of one Brigadier General Raymond Utsaha or Utasa, or whatever you. The man is from North Central. He was formerly the brigade commander of 32 Artillery Brigade in Owena, Ekiti State, from where he was drafted to Imo State, the 34th Brigade as the brigade commander in March 2021. So to expose them, so that it's not as if, it's not only that atrocity crimes were perpetrated or conduct atrocities were perpetrated, it's also about the question who are those behind their perpetration and perpetuation.
InterSociety resolved to raise a team of investigators to visit some of the most vulnerable areas. This was on account of reports that soldiers of the Nigerian army and the Ebubago militias are going about setting dwelling houses of defenseless citizens on fire, looting and destroying other valuable properties.
This is the family of Ekorobudike family. See what they did. They just burned all the house. The owner of the house, they just shoot the guy gun. See, can you see? What if the guy dies? Can you imagine? See what Ebubago and Nigerian army did. See what they did yesterday, being 31st of January. They just burnt all the house, both the properties. They just scatter everywhere. Just see, they just burnt all the, both the motorcycle, both the machine, sewing machine. They just burnt everywhere. Both the zinc, they steal all the things there, burn the bed, everything here. They just scatter it, destroy everything.
Matthias Mobi house. Yesterday, Ebubago and Army, the group of them, they came yesterday and damaged everything. See the house, they said ablaze. See it. See the burial, the grave of the woman, the owner of the house. See the grave. See what they did yesterday. It's very painful. They sold the properties and the goats before they set it ablaze.
The family of Christian Amuze. See what Ebubago and Nigerian army did yesterday, being 31st of January. They just damaged all the glasses there, scatter all the door. Can you imagine? See what they did. See what they did. Can you imagine? See what they did. The family. See the building. The new building they built. See how they damaged it. Destroyed everywhere.
Mr. Umogono's compound. This man was the owner of this compound was born in, they put him inside this building, burned him, and he died inside the fire. So here is where he was buried. The owner of this building was killed here by Nigerian security agents known as Ibubago security outfits. All their two or three buildings were all destroyed, burned into ashes. Both their vehicle and their valuable items, some of them were looted, taken by Nigerian military. Like this, another building belonging to this Mr. Morgano. So here is where he ran to when he saw these people. His vehicle was burned down. See it here. Then the GP tank. He ran to this place. Then they came here and they caught him here. And here is where his body was lying. And then he was born inside this place.
It must be remembered that the Nigerian army had, while reacting to our special investigative report on 20th January 2022, the night setting civilian houses on fire or burning them to ashes in eastern Nigeria, including its southeast part. Contradictorily, on 26th January 2022, some dwelling houses belonging to defenseless citizens of Akama Nanansa of Ihitenasa in Osu local government area of Imo State were burnt down, destroyed or vandalized. Among them was the palace of Eze Agogeshi, Obi Ohazulume, the traditional ruler of Akama Nanansa in Ihitenansa community, which was ransacked, vandalized and nearly burnt down by soldiers. On 31st January 2022, the autonomous community of Osu Ihituwa and Eziawa were also attacked by the arsonist soldiers and the Ibubago militia. Reports also have it that the communities of Amalolo, Umuhuokabia, where soldiers and Ibubago were reported to have killed a pregnant woman and a palm wine tapper. On Monday, 14th February 2022, Amiri in Oru East local government, Awomama in Njaba local government, and Ahia Zumbise came under attack recently by various contingents of soldiers of the 34th Brigade Obinze, joined by the Ibubago militias, and in all, not less than 100 civilian houses were set on fire or vandalized and destroyed between January and this February 2022. The 31st January 2022 attacks commenced at Eziawa between 3 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. and between 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. in two orders, and in the end, not less than 70 dwelling houses belonging to local rural civilian population were burnt down, vandalized and destroyed. Massive looting by soldiers and Ibubago militia were also the order of the day. The 34 Artillery Brigade in Obinze near Owerri, Imo State is under 82 Division Enugu. The pillaged and plundered properties had included domestic animals, electronics, power generators, kitchen utensils, economic crops such as tubers of yam, bunches of plantain, and gallons of red oil, sales stores, automobiles, motorcycles, and large sum of money. In total, the properties lost in the two-day Army and Ibubago militias attack are conservatively estimated at over 5 billion naira or 45 billion naira if added to 40 billion naira conservative worth of properties arising from 1,000 civilian houses burnt down or destroyed between October 2020 and December 2021. The burning down of over 70 civilian homes in 2 days on 26th and 31st January 2022 also left over 3,000 persons displaced and homeless. InterSociety team on 4th and 8th February 2022 took a tour of some of the affected areas, including Osu Ihitokwa, Ihitenasa, and Eziawa, all in Osu local government area of Imo State.
Few minutes around 11:30 yesterday, being 31st of January. We were just, living our normal life. All of a sudden, we saw a group of men coming to attack us. So we ran for our life, and the next thing they did was to, they start breaking the houses. Look at my house. They broke all the louvers. They took my 2 Android phone, carried my generator. Jesus. They carried the gas cooker. Sure. Even earpiece. They took earpiece as well. And they took the little money I kept in the house, about 6,000 naira. What's a bit? So, and they broke all the gold glasses. And they also carried a plantain, a bunch of plantain, very big bunch of plantain. You can see
it was 11:23 that we didn't know that this road is just coming to my house. Starts damaging my property.
Who are those people?
Ibubago.
Okay, Ibubago. Okay.
They got away with my money.
Okay. They took away your money.
50,000.
50,000.
50,000.
Wow.
And my machine.
They carry your machine.
The machine was damaged.
And they do what?
And my
glasses.
My glasses.
Okay, they broke your glasses.
Yes. Roundabout. Roundabout.
Ha bụ ọsọ ụzọ bụ ọsọ glass. Okay. Ihe ọzọ ha wesịrị. Ha buru gas dị n'ime ụlọ. Were ego gị. Okay.
Ihe ha mebiri bụ na ha dere ebe a. Ọ bụ ọnụ ụzọ. Shikara ego nwere ebe a nke.
Chisere gị nwụrụ.
Yes. N'ebe a bụ siri generator a tinye ọkụ n'ụlọ.
Ha busiri generator gị.
Busiri akpakara nwanne m nwoke dị.
Okay.
Busiri ụmụ ihe dị iche iche bụ ọ na-ezinụlọ.
Okay.
The video you are watching is the burnt down family house of Ugudike. This happened on 31st January 2022 by soldiers of the 34 Brigade Obinze near Ore. It was burnt to ashes. An uncle to the owner of the house was also shot at his spinal cord region. Properties looted include newly procured sitting room executive chairs, 1 3-in-1, 2 2-in-1, and 3 singles, 6 sets of mocha foams, 3 motorcycles, 2 standing fans, 1 big bag of rice, 48 pieces of wrapper of assorted expensive types, 4 sets of big iron smith pots, 10 sets of big plastic coolers, and 6 medium types, cash of 290,000, 2 sets of sewing machines, 3 bunches of plantain, 1 big goat, and 1 set of big power generator. A prominent member of the family, who is an Onitsha-based millionaire, told InterSociety that most of the items were procured in readiness of one of their daughter's upcoming marriage. 2 other houses belonging to the family were also set ablaze. This is Eziawa community. These videos shows the level of damages and terror that was meted here. In this video, we see 3 houses of Nze Tobias Obi, a 67 years old man, grandfather, a respected leader in the laity council of the Catholic Church, and a native of Akama village in Eziawa Autonomous Community, Osu local government area, Imo State. The 3 houses, including his own house, that of his father, which also houses their sales store, and the newly built one, were all burnt to ashes at about 3:30 p.m. on 31st January 2022 by soldiers of the 34 Brigade Obinze in Imo State and Ibubago militia. Properties worth millions of naira were also looted and burnt to ashes. Apart from losing cash of 1.8 million to the arsonist soldiers, Other valuable items lost include 4 television sets, 40 pieces of expensive abada clothes, 40 pieces of new plastic chairs, 4 sets of 4x6 foam and 2 6x6 foam, 3 bunches of plantain, 5 big iron smith pots and 4 medium sizes. Sets of breakable plates were looted. 3 motorcycles, 3 goats, yam ban were all burnt to ashes, together with the family house. Out of the 1.8 million stolen by soldiers and their accompanied militias, 400,000 belonged to Nze Tobias Obi's wife, Juliana, being sales made from their bar. The remaining 1.4 million was realized from different church and kindred groups, which Nze Tobias serves as either treasurer or financial secretary. The reason for setting civilian homes ablaze at Eziawa was that a masquerade was sighted in the area by army's planted informant as being clothed with Biafra color. The prince of the vandalized and destroyed palace in Ihitenansa confirms soldiers' invasion. According to the first son of the traditional ruler of Akamana Nansa Autonomous Community under Ihitenansa, Prince Barrister Victor Agugweshi, who spoke to InterSociety on phone on Tuesday 15 February 2022 at about 5:55 a.m., the leader of the army from 34 Brigade Obinze, a northerner, called him while the attack on his father's palace was going on 26 January 2022 and said they just broke into one of the rooms and saw his professional card and phone number, and they decided to call him and stop the burning down of the palace because they discovered that he is a lawyer. The army team leader also told the prince that they invaded the palace because they suspected it to be IPOB camp, and by the time they discovered otherwise, the damage had been done and that he should take what happened as he sees it. Prince Barrister Agugweshi, who is an Abuja-based legal practitioner, told InterSociety that his father's palace was desecrated, ransacked, destroyed beyond imagination, and nearly burnt to ashes. No valuable properties in the palace, including 8 sets of television, expensive electronics, and so on, were either burnt to ashes, damaged, pillaged, or plundered. The army team leader also informed the prince that they noticed that his father, Eze Agugweshi, was freshly interred, having joined his ancestors, and that by the time they discovered all these, the damage was already done. These and more are the atrocities going on in the various locations highlighted.
Talking about the authenticity of the video clips we gathered that are forming part of the international documentary that is in making, the authenticity of the video clips is not in doubt. Apart from the fact that we are trained in the area, in this particular area, we're also conscious of the fact that people go about posting videos without a textual background, without textual definition, without intellectual validity and explanation, without destination, with their destination's blood, and thereby raising some critical credibility question regarding such video clips. So in our own case, it's a different ballgame. We also refuse to authenticate or derive our video clips from those being circulated online. So our video clips are virgin, derived from the source, and organized or recorded by victims and the natives of the 3 affected pilot communities in Imo State, including Eziawa, Osihikwa, and Ihitenansa. We also have other video clips from other areas like the recent military shooting at Ogu in Enugu State, and so on and so forth. So the ones we have here in the documentary are very, very authentic and very valid, and have no credibility question. And to further confirm the authenticity of our video clips, we we sent our investigators to the communities, affected communities, to cross-check the ones that we have gathered from the victims and other natives from the communities, and our investigators went and came back, collaborating the videos, video clips we got from the natives, concerned, and our investigators also visited the scenes where the video clips were, taken in the three communities mentioned. So the authenticity is not. There is no need. Yeah, our video clips are very, very authentic.
This is Osu, what the army people did in Osu, close to Ekututu, opposite Obianeri filling station. This is shop, about 5 shops consumed. Look, this is tailoring machine, that's generator. This is somebody's business. Just look at, about 6-7 shops in a line, all got fire.
Hotel, popular Ukwake or inland guest house, have been raised down by Nigerian military forces. This morning, they have been shooting since morning, shooting and killing innocent people, bombing people's shop and properties. That's what we witnessed today. So we are not happy. How can government deploy his security agents to destroy people celebrating their Easter festival? We are in a sad mood. This is what we experienced this morning. Since night, nobody have slept this area. They will be shooting sporadically. Nigerian military forces shooting every damn thing they see, burning people's shop and property.
Oh God. Oh God. Hey, what be out here now?
When in one of the areas where they bring order is where you have insurrection. Then when we go to section 305, it's talking about situations where the military are being called to intervene in bringing order, and judging from what we have on ground, those places where those incidents happen, where their houses were burnt, you can see the situation never warranted for a state of emergency. And when you go to section 305, that section 305 talks about the procedure by which that state of emergency is being called. And the procedure doesn't include burning people's houses. You have the procedure whereby you have to get the 2/3 votes from the House of Assembly. It is the governor that calls for the state of emergency. Then they will now have 2/3 votes from the House of Assembly. Whereby the governor fails to call for the state of emergency, the president's sumoto will now call for it, but with the 2/3 votes from the National Assembly. That is how the procedure for calling for state of emergency. But in this situation, there wasn't anything like that. There was no application of section 305 as it has been stated according to the Constitution.
The whole idea of doing this is one to expose the atrocities, the conduct atrocities of the Nigerian security forces or agencies, which has no place in international law or local laws of the country, or even the country's treaty, regional and international treaty laws, especially assuming the Nigerian security forces are tagging the civil space disturbances or turbulence in eastern Nigeria as act of war. It has no place in the laws guiding the situation of armed conflict, whether intra-state armed conflict. It has no place. So we do not know where this evil practice, was derived from. So the whole idea is to, like I said, is to expose their conduct atrocities, to expose the falsehood by the soldiers of Nigerian Army and the other high commands of Nigerian security agencies, to also expose the perpetrators because from our own investigation, it was established beyond any contention or argument that the atrocities in question are majorly being perpetrated by soldiers of Nigerian Army, Egubago militias, raised and funded by government of Imo State under purpose of the
The law is against any crime committed to humanity, especially the defenseless civilians. That principle is embedded in the ICC statute. The principle is all about jurisdiction. For something like this that has been committed that is against Section 8, Sub 2 of the ICC statute, is talking about the Nigerian military having the right first of all fish out these perpetrators and prosecute them. But whereby they fail to fish them out, that means they've lost the jurisdiction. Then the ICC automatically will now have the jurisdiction to try them out. So for this particular thing that I've committed, according to evidences that we have, where the military went to the defenseless civilians' houses and we are burning their houses for no just reason. Defenseless civilians burning their properties, which is against their fundamental right to own a property. Any part, to own a property, that is their fundamental right. So for them to go and start burning their houses with unlawfully, it is triable, and the Nigerian military ought to fish out those perpetrators and prosecute them. Otherwise, they risk them being tried at ICC.
We use the opportunity to call on Nigerian security agencies and their top high commands and as well as government of Nigeria to launch an independent investigation into this so as to fish out the officers concerned and punish them accordingly in line with the laws of Nigeria and international laws under United Nations system. Failure of which then that means the Nigerian government is aiding and abetting whether you call it crimes against humanity or war crimes or other internationally prohibited acts. And of course, as you know, they are severely punishable